If there are any Christians out there that are just thinking everything's hopeless and there's really nothing you can do to change the trajectory we're headed in America, check this out. So a few days ago, Donald Trump said he was actually going to vote in favor of a bill that would overturn the 6-week ban on abortions in the state of Florida. The reason is because he says he thinks 6 weeks is too short. So he wants to lengthen when you can basically kill your baby. If you're a Christian, I hope that frustrates you, but here's the thing. Soon after Trump said that, he actually backtracked on what he said. Now he's saying he would actually vote against that 6-week abortion overturn. Keep in mind, Trump's view did not change, but his voters did not like his view. And he got so much backlash, he actually was going to side with his supporters despite his personal beliefs. You have a voice as a Christian. Use it to continue to do stuff like this. This is a great example of the power Christians have if they stop hiding in their churches and saying, oh, there's nothing we can do, or voting doesn't matter, or what we say doesn't matter, or let's just, not get involved in politics, because that's something different. Christians need to stop having that attitude. Why do you think the country is embracing anti-God values and anti-God way of thinking? Because the Christians say, okay, hands off. We're taking a hands-off approach. Of course, a society is going to degrade into godlessness when the people that are supposed to represent God and push for God's morality disengage from the culture. It's just kind of common sense. Why do you think the left and people that are anti-Christian keep winning all the time? Well, it's because they're the ones that are aggressive. They're the ones that are giving pushback, holding these people's feet to the fire. Christians need to be doing that too, because we can actually do it better. We actually have a standard. We're not going with whatever whims we feel today. We're not identifying however we feel today. No, we identify as children of the living God. And we actually know what love is. We know what a man and a woman are. We know what a baby is. We know when life starts at conception. We know these things that the unbelieving world just has no idea how to gauge. And even if they think they have some handle on it, it can change next week because it's all subjective in their view. If we want our society to change, Christians need to get up out of their pews and start heading out to the courthouses. Imagine you and like 10 other buddies started calling politicians, holding their feet to the fire, asking them to represent you in a certain way. That may have some influence for sure, but it wouldn't have too much of an influence because they got, tons of other polls that are dictating how the general population are feeling in the state. But imagine if like 3 churches of like 100 to 300 people each all called the same politician. That's like 1,000 people holding the politicians' feet to the fire on biblical values. Do you think that's going to influence them? Yeah, that's going to influence them a lot. And that's just 3 churches in an entire state. Imagine if every single county, just 1 church did that. The politicians would be caving to the pressure. We would have a Christian state in like a day. Pastors and other Christians need to stop saying, well, just vote how your conscience is, or just hold to whatever you feel is right. No, there's a biblical standard Christians must follow, and our governors should follow. If any Christian ever thinks abortion is an acceptable thing, they are so far off the reservation. I don't even know how you begin to even register that in your mind. It makes no sense. I don't care about any exceptions. That is not something a Christian should ever concede on. If people do things wrong, that's great. We should punish them. But we shouldn't punish an innocent child ever with the death penalty because of the sins of their father or the sins of someone else. We should be holding our politicians' feet to the fire, and Christians shouldn't be embracing and celebrating a 6-week abortion ban. We need to say no abortions, period. Ban on all abortions because life starts at conception. We shouldn't settle for 6 weeks. Yeah, it's good. We should celebrate it to some extent, but That's not acceptable. It should not be acceptable for a Christian. A little bit of death, no, that's not acceptable. No death for babies. It's kind of basic knowledge. The whole reason I wanted to make this is to give you a great example of how Christians actually have immense influence that we are not using. Whenever you look around and say, whoa, with all this weird stuff's happening in this world, kids are getting puberty blockers, genitalia removed, whatever it is that you want to say, this is crazy, this is happening in our world that people don't even know right from wrong anymore, it seems, just look in the mirror, look at the church and say, it's because of us disengaging. I hope this encouraged you to start speaking up for yourself and what you believe in and holding the politicians' feet to the fire like they keep saying. And not just that, I hope you encourage your pastors and hold their feet to the fire to say, hey, our church needs to be getting involved. We need to be making some announcement because we have an entire congregation. You have a huge influence over your congregation for the glory of God, for the advancement of the kingdom, and to actually help people legislatively that you're not using. We need to tell our pastors this and get them to be more involved and encourage their congregation to be involved. Maybe make a day of something, I'm just spitballing here, but do something. There's a lot of great ministry opportunities out there. I get it. And I encourage people to continue to do those. But if you ever want to actually solve the issue, you have to do it on a legal level. We can't just keep playing damage control as Christians, which is what we've been doing. It's time to go on the offensive, and the gates of hell will not prevail. The Christian army is an advancing force. And we have Christ on our side, so we're winning force. Thanks for watching. God bless.